UFO sighting in Middletown, Ohio, according to reporting by the Daily Caller. A rotating green light was seen by multiple people last week. A rotating green light was seen by multiple people last week. The sheriff's office said they didn't receive any calls about the light, and no one has debunked the sightings, at least not yet. The person who managed to capture the video described his initial reaction as a mix of fear and fascination, exclaiming, "I instantly thought like we're under attack by aliens. It was scary." Then the lights disappeared without there being any hostile action. Eyewitnesses, including Bryce Garrick, observed the enigmatic lights rotating in a clockwise motion before swiftly darting across the sky and vanishing.
Also, multiple people reported seeing a rotating green light above them in Middletown, Ohio on June the 21st, and no one has managed to debunk the footage almost a week later. What I also believe is this stuff's true.
We had multiple viewers reach out to us after they say they spotted those rotating green lights in the sky. Now, Caden Little of Middletown reached out, and he tells us he saw the lights around 10:30 or 11 last night. And take a look at this video he sent us. You can see a ring of bright green lights rotating in the sky, and another video taken by Bryce Garrick also shows those lights. And then all of a sudden, you can see the lights will quickly zoom off to the left of your screen, and then they just disappear. You can see a ring of bright green lights rotating in the sky, and another video taken by Bryce Garrick also shows those lights. And then all of a sudden, you can see the lights will quickly zoom off to the left of your screen, and then they just disappear. And then all of a sudden, you can see the lights will quickly zoom off to the left of your screen, and then they just disappear.
All right, Shalom. This is Har 1 by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakah Kwadash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders, and shalom to you Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, man, you saw it on the news. They're speaking about this recent chariot sighting over Ohio, Cleveland, I think it was somewhere in Ohio. And they said it was what? A green chariot that was circular, and it was spinning, and it took off. First scriptures I started thinking about was Ezekiel. All right, because as I was saying before, in prior lessons in the book of Ezekiel, that it was a fleet of two different fleets of chariots showing up and meeting under the God of heaven, whose name is Yahweh. If you understand Ezekiel, you understand where it talks about the first fleet of chariots that showed up in Ezekiel's vision was bronze or amber in color. Then there was another fleet of angels that met up with those angels. All right, and these chariots were actually green. Two different color variations on these chariots, two different fleets of chariots and angels. All right, which also would go into the ranking. Okay, you know, there's different. The Most High deals with order. Like Yahushua is the top angel. Under him is Michael, who in the Hebrew his name is Mayak Allah. You know, and then you had the rest of the angels, the 7 angels, and the rest of the army of angels out in heaven. So now, with that being said, we know that those are angels in those chariots. All right. And now I'm gonna get that real quick. All right. So let's read Exodus. This goes all the way back to the Exodus, man. 1446 BC. The chariots were spoken about that led us out of Egypt. A cloud by day, meaning and a fire by night. Now today, when they show what they call the pill-shaped UFO, see, Esau always try to throw these carnal thoughts in people's mind. They be like, shit, like it's a cigar, the cigar UFO. Oumuamua, it's a big giant rock. But then you hear about it later that it was red and it was hot and it was spinning and it was being controlled. And then you hear about that pill-shaped UFO when it really just looked like a cloud. You know? So an object that casts a shadow during the day. Just like a cloud. That's how the chariots look, you know, in the ancient times. They didn't know how to describe it. So let's read about what's inside of these clouds or these chariots. And we know Revelations, I think it's 1:7, said the Lord is going to come with clouds and every eye shall see him, man. They're going to see his angels, they're going to see him. Exodus 14:18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh. Right? So today, spiritually, Egyptians are these damn Americans, Esau. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh and upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And that's what the Lord is going to do now. He's going to get his honor upon these militaries out here. According to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. The Lord is going to get his honor. We're praising his name, prophesying in his name. And when he shows up, he's coming with fire and vengeance. He's not coming to bring peace. All right? He's coming to bring peace to the children of Israel, the elect. But not on the earth. He's coming to bring fire and judgment. So when they see these chariots, that's what it represents. You know, deliverance and also destruction. It says the angel of Yahweh, see, it was an angel. This was talking about the deliverance of Israel out of Egypt from the Pharaoh, from the Hamites. And the angel of Yahweh, so Yahweh Shai was in that chariot, you know. And the angel of Yahweh, which went before the camp of Israel. So there was an angel inside this chariot. Most likely it was probably Yahweh Shai. And the angel of Yahweh went, which went before the camp of Israel. So this was being controlled. We know about the cloud by day, fire by night. And it was, we were fleeing from Pharaoh and his army. And the angel that was over us left the camp, left from over us and went between us and the Egyptians as a defense, man. That was, you know, the Lord set those angels up as a defense for us. He said, defending, he shall also deliver. It says, and it removed and went behind them. So it left and went behind us. We were going this way. And the angel said it went behind us to block us as we was fleeing. And it came between the camp, Salaki, and the pillar of the cloud. See, it was a cloud, a chariot. Went from before their face and stood behind them. So it wasn't in front of us anymore, leading us, and went behind us and was protecting us. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all night. So it was so bright, the light was so bright over us in that dark wilderness, you know, as we were fleeing Egypt and the Egyptians. It was so bright that you can see the lint on our clothes or the hairs on our head or everything in our path where we walked. All right. And it was darkness unto them. Just like now. It's going to be astonishment to these heathens in 2/3. It's going to be fearful to them, but it's going to be deliverance and joy for the elect. All right. So that's what they were experiencing. On the news clips I just played at the beginning of this video, the woman said that this Edomite that caught it on film, he said the first feeling he felt was fear, and then he felt worry that these chariots, they call UAPs or UFOs, meaning unidentified. They can't identify it. They don't know. They're in the dark. They don't know. And they he said the next feeling he was experiencing was from the thought that these chariots were going to attack under some type of alien invasion or attack. So he feels something, but they got all kind of delusions in their mind ever since the movie E.T. came out in the 1930s or something like that. 1960s, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Why not? So it came out. I was born in '81, so it came out in '82, right, by Steven Spielberg. Now the crazy thing is, let me get some. All right, what was that? All right, it was during World War II, where you had something called Foo Fighters. All right, and ever since the Foo Fighters, they had it in their mind, and they pushed this agenda that there were aliens or little green men in those chariots, when it's really the chariots of the Lord. And there's angels inside these chariots. All right, I call them war chariots. Now it says Foo Fighter. The term Foo Fighter was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various unidentified flying objects, UFOs, that's what they call them, or mysterious aerial phenomena, all right, UAPs. All right, so this is what they're seeing today. It's the same thing that led the children of Israel out of Egypt to protect and defend and lead the world, the people, the other nations in the dark. Let me see something. Check this out, man. So this is what they were seeing. Now, this sighting that just happened over Ohio, they're hoping that these, just like Antiochus Epiphanes did in 168 BC. He said, man, let me get that. Jeez, it's crazy, man. They in the same spirit. My bad, scripture just popping in my mind. Let me get that let me get that real quick. All right, so this is happening kind of like military exercises or spying and watching. That's what the chariots are doing. The scriptures say that they're beholding the evil and the good. This is 2 Maccabees 5:1. About the same time, Antiochus Epiphanes prepared his second voyage into Egypt, and that happened in 168 BC. His first voyage was in 169. He was trying to take Egypt, make it his. So his second voyage, all right, this is where we get to Maccabees. And then it happened that through all the city, just like through all of America and around the world, for the space of almost 40 days or almost a month, there were seen horsemen running in the air, man. So there were horses, meaning chariots, just like spoken of with Elijah in the book of Kings. It says, he said he saw, Elisha said he saw horses, meaning chariots, with power. It's a horsepower, right? But a horse has a rider, and that's what they call horsemen. Running in the air in cloth of gold, so you could see the angels inside those chariots, just like Ezekiel could. And so they had cloth of gold on. Wow, and cloth of gold. So they dressed in gold color. And armed with lances, right? Armed with lances like a band of soldiers, man. A band of soldiers that's going to have ranking and also order and formation. And troops of horsemen in array. That in array means in formation. And set up around them. Troops of them. Armies of them, man. Troops. Encountering and running one against another. Like you see a chariot going, you know, they be moving around. Passing through each other almost like light. With shaking of shields, multitude of pikes, and drawing of swords, casting of darts, and glittering of golden ornaments, and harness of all sorts. So they was shooting off stuff, man, up there. Basically like a military practice. Now this is the point. Like right now, they're seeing the chariots, right? And these people have fear. And this is what they're really feeling right here. It says, verse 4, wherefore every man prayed that that apparition might turn to good. But what did the Lord say? All right, so who the hell was they praying to, first of all? So you think Esau praying to? The devil. All right, so they were praying that this apparition, it looked ghostly to them, just like these chariots today. They don't know if it's real, if it's a blue beam. They don't know what the hell it is. Is it from a movie? Is it green men? It says apparition. It looked almost ghostly to them. All right, scary, fearful to them. That's why the Lord said this. All right, so he said they were hoping that this was going to turn to good for them. Well, that's what the Lord says. Here you go. This is Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. All right, so those angels are set up to bring a sword to this place, destruction. But he also said this, Isaiah 31:5. As birds flying, what do birds fly in? Formation, with the leader at the front. And in this case, with the chariots, like in Ezekiel, is one in front, two behind that one, and two behind that one. So it's like a army of 5. So you put two of those fleets together, you have 10. All right. So Ezekiel was seeing 4 chariots with 4 chariots behind one group. The next chariot, there was 4 behind that. The next chariot, there was 4 chariots behind that. So he saw a fleet of angels, man. All right. But it says, as birds flying, man. You know, how we call them the wings of the Lord. His wings, his chariots, his army. As birds flying, so will Yahweh of hosts, of armies, the Lord of armies, defend Jerusalem in order and in formation and with direct. What do armies get? Orders. How about that? Direct orders to watch over the elect of Israel. That's Psalms 91. That should give them charge over thee. All right. So defending Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, which means city of peace, city of righteousness, which goes into Revelation 21, New Jerusalem, right? Defending also, he will deliver it, man. So defending us, fighting against them, putting them in the dark, he's also going to deliver the elect, according, just like we read in Exodus. It was darkness unto them, to these Egyptians, but it was light to us. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. All right, so he's going to preserve the elect. and keep them. Psalms 91, he said, only with thy eyes shall you see the destruction of the wicked, but it shall not come nigh to thee. It's talking about on the judgment day with the fire. Right? So yeah, man, it's birds flying. Look at this right here. It says, what were the mysterious Foo Fighters sighted by World War II night flyers, nighttime now? The objects flew alongside aircraft at 200 miles per hour. They were red or orange, which would be like amber almost, or green. There you go again, green. They appeared singly or with as many as 10 other in formation. Think about that. That'd be 2 chariots with 4 angels behind each of them in formation. You see it? So let's get back to this. This is what they're seeing. All right. So just because the angels don't seemingly look like they're destroying things, they're watching. All right. Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of Yahweh. His eyes are his chariots, himself. He can see everywhere. His angels and his elect are his eyes. So the eyes of Yahweh are in every place, even in America, beholding the evil and the good. See that? But the Lord, so they're like, oh, they just watching. No, the Lord said, think not that I'm coming to send peace. He's coming to send the sword. And defending also he shall deliver his elect. But right now they're just watching, beholding the evil and the good. They ain't get no orders to destroy yet. They ain't get no orders to come and deliver us yet, according to Psalms 91. Right now they're just beholding. You know, people see them, they're like, what is that for? You know, they don't know what it means. So the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. All right, it's one of my favorite scriptures because it explains what they're feeling right now. The same way Antiochus was in fear. On the newscast, he said this guy, he felt, first feeling he thought of, what experience was fear. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. So us, we're standing up in this truth, in the Lord's greatness, in the spirit of boldness. All right. Before the face of such as have afflicted him, before these Edomites. You know, they see us on the internet, and great fear is falling upon them, according to Revelation chapter 11. And made no account of his labors. When they see it, see, these devils, they seeing it. They seeing it. How they seeing it? On the news, on the internet, in person, with their phone, looking at it. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. And that day's coming. Right now, they're looking, they're in fear, but in the day of judgment, it's going to be terrible fear, terrifying. Fear. Let's get that word fear real quick. This is the definition of the word fear. This is what they're feeling, man. An unpleasant emotion. It's a human chill. As it said on the movie 300, Artaxerxes was feeling. He felt it was Xerxes. He felt that human chill because he thought he was a god, but he realized he's just human. He says an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or is a threat. So, let me get this real quick. See, big difference. 2 Timothy 1:7, but this was the Lord telling his elect, telling you, the believers out there. It says, for Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. But them, they're going to have an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous and likely to cause pain or a threat. Just like they're gonna be frightened, terror. They like scary movies and shit. So just like Belshazzar, he felt that human chill, that fear, that emotion, unpleasant emotion on the night of 539 BC, when the Lord brought down ancient Babylon. The son of Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, the Lord sent that hand and wrote on the wall in front of him. He said Mene, Shekel, a part that's, I'm saying it wrong, but, and it basically meant this night, your kingdom is taken from you and handed to another. All right, if I want to get it, I can get it, but I just want to move on. So, and when Belshazzar saw this hand writing on the wall, he shitted on his damn self. Scriptures say that. He lost his bowels. He lost control of them. Through what? Fear. He was partying with all the artifacts that Nebuchadnezzar got during around 605 all the way to about 597. The Babylonians was taken from us. Took all our artifacts into Babylon. Later on, years later, his grandson, Belshazzar, was partying with all of our artifacts, with women, And the Lord sent a hand to write on the wall right in front of him, scared the shit out of him, literally. So, right? So fear, it says an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous. Beanie Siegel said, I'm dangerous. He said that to Charlemagne, I'm dangerous. It's dangerous. Play with something else. It says likely to cause pain or threat. They know it, man. All right, so Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. This is what he felt. He said the first feeling he experienced was fear. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed, all right, at the strangeness of his salvation. They ain't gonna understand it when they see the elect getting taken care of and them getting destroyed. So far beyond all that they look for. And they, so far beyond all that they're looking for. What they looking for? An Edomite to come out of the sky. They're looking for this to never happen. They're looking for little green men, E.T., the movie that came out in the 1980s, which was a reflection of the Foo Fighters that happened during World War II. All right, so there's a lot of chariot sightings here in America, and they came out with the movie E.T., and then people started thinking about little aliens being inside the chariots. Before that, you had drawings going back to the ancient times of these chariots, and they had humans or angels, people that are like humans inside of these chariots, and But here in America, they came up with this lie saying that it was green men. So it says, what? So far beyond that, beyond all that they look for, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit. They didn't be praying. Just like Antiochus was trying to pray. Just anguish of spirit. Whew, we don't know what that really feels like, what it's gonna feel like, man. Shall say within themselves. They might not admit it today, but they're gonna say this within themselves, even 2/3. This was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God? and his lot is among the saints. See? All right, so therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. All right, so what does that mean? They're in the dark. Just like that angel had the children of Israel in the light, and it was the darkness to the Egyptians. All right, it's going to be darkness to these heathens in 2/3. But it's going to be light and salvation and joy and hope for us. All right, so let me get this. All right, I always like to go to this scripture when they start naming colors and the colors of these chariots. They keep saying green now. It said this chariot was circular, it was rotating, and it shot off in one direction. And also it was green and it was huge. So Ezekiel 1 and 20. Actually, let me go up some more. All right, so now it says living creatures is talking about the creations, these angels that look like men. Ezekiel 1 and 15. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. All right, so another angel showed up with a chariot with his 4 faces. So he had a fleet of chariots with him. Me personally, I believe this was Yahushua, but you know, it says here the appearance of the wheels that were with this specific angel or chariot, and their work. So it's talking about the make and the model, the appearance, really, and the actual model of it, like the work of it, was like unto the color of beryl. All right, so you got different colors, different fleets of angels, and they 4 had one likeness. So they all were shaped the same, different design from the prior chariots that were spoken of in Ezekiel, that were bronze and amber. And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Now let's get that. This is beryl. This is a beryl stone. So this is the color. They look green, just like the chariots they're seeing now. It's basically saying beryl. You know. All right, so it's green. Probably look like this right here. Beautiful, man. Kingdom of Heaven is gonna be great, beautiful, majestic. To be able to sit in that chariot that looked like this, like a gemstone in the sky. All right, so they said they saw a green chariot that was circular, but now the Bible says a wheel within a wheel. But of course, you got these heathens. They put a picture out with a wheel this way and then a wheel that way. That's wrong. Okay, so this is what the devil put out there, the deception. All right, this is not how the chariots look, man. All right. They got it like a wheel inside of a wheel. All right, so they got Edomites. So they got it all mixed up. They think that's how it look, and they think it's the Edomite out there. And a lot of idiots, a lot of people think the angels look like this with 4 heads. Make no damn sense, man. All right, so now this is what he saw. A wheel looks circular at the bottom within a wheel. And it would show clearly that the middle part would spin opposite of the outside part of the chariot. You know? And when the angel controls the chariot, wherever he faces, the chariot goes that direction. It doesn't need to turn. So the angel can go all the way around in the chariot and turn this way. And the chariot doesn't have to spin at all. It's just like, go whichever direction. So whichever way the angel facing, that's what direction the chariot would go. Up an airplane, you got to turn the whole plane around, make a full dip, or a jet just you know. But these chariots, whatever way the angel is facing, that's the direction it goes. That's full control, man. You know, that's full control of a vehicle. So this is what he saw. A wheel within a wheel. Not a wheel with madness, man. All right? But they look green, this specific fleet of chariots. And like the one that was reported on this news clip. They said it was huge and it was green and it was spinning. And then it just took off when it looked ghostly and put fear in people. All right. It says UFO a group of green lights spotted hovering above Texas City. And look, it's 1 and then 4. The leader and then 4 behind it. Just like the Bible said in Ezekiel. Let's get back to it real quick. Let me see. I'll leave it on this one. Probably zoom in though. All right, let's go to Ezekiel 1 again. All right, it says, verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. So they were meeting up with his 4 faces. So it was another angel now. And the appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl. So they were green. And they 4 had one likeness. So they was all part of the same fleet. And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. All right. All right. So you see here, this is more so what it was like. A wheel in the middle of a wheel. Okay. So, now it says, when they went upon their 4 sides, man. That means these angels, these chariots, don't have to make a full turn. They can go any direction. They already spinning the circle, you know, in rotation. That's why it says like a calf's foot, meaning circulating. It says that, rotating. All right, it says frisking round, meaning moving in circular motion. Some people say it's a calf's foot where the angels got shoes. Anyway, whatever, man. Whatever. But right there it's talking about the chariots being circular, all right? He couldn't see what the angels were wearing on his feet and shit in the chariot. Whatever. Now it says here, and when they went upon their 4 sides. Their 4 sides meaning north, east, west, and south. Meaning they went in any direction. All right, any direction the angel wanted to go, the chariot just they don't need to turn that direction. It just go that way. All right, so it went upon its 4 sides, upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. So they didn't have to turn. It just go that direction. Where the angel facing, they can go north, east, whichever direction. All right. And as for their rings, they were so high, and the rings represents strakes, or the edges of the chariot, or the window area. They were so high that they were dreadful. It was like frightening. It was so huge. And their rings were, the edges of it were full of eyes, windows round about them 4. All right, so they had windows all around it. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. So whatever way the angels turned or wanted to do, these chariots would do it. The wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Wheresoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. So these angels that stepped out of the chariots, in this vision, and he saw them meeting up. It described what they looked like and everything. But as they were moving, the chariots were following over them. You know, and when they were chilling, the chariots settled and stopped. But when they would move, the chariots would move too. Kind of like a moving garage over top of your head and shit. Kind of like on Dragon Ball Z. What was his name, Goku or something like that? With the Nimbus cloud. All right. So it says, whithersoever the spirit was to go, thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, meaning near them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels, just like our spirit is going to be in the chariots that the Lord going to give to us. When those went, these went. When those stood, these stood. Still basically stopped. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them, meaning near them. All right. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheel. Deep, man. Let's go to Ezekiel 10 real quick, because it get more detailed. This is Ezekiel chapter 10. Let me find it real quick. So lucky. All right, I'm pulling it up on this screen so you can read it with me. It's Ezekiel 10 and 9. It says, and when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, man. So each of these these angels had four wheels or chariots with them. All right. The wheels by the cherubims. The cherubim represents the angel, whether in the chariot or out of the chariot. Some in the scriptures they say cherubim, and they be talking about the chariot with the angels in it, or you be talking about just the angel itself, angelic being, the cherubim. And when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub. So each angel had a chariot with him, and another wheel by another cherub. And the appearance of the wheels was as the color of a beryl stone. It gives more detail. So you look up beryl stone, and it's going to be green, as I just showed you, the gemstone. And it was sparkling and dazzling, man. And as for their appearance, they four had one likeness. So it's talking about the chariots now. As if a wheel had been in the midst of a wheel. So it's talking about that type of motion, circular. When they went upon their four sides, meaning they went in any direction, north, east, west, and south, without turning. Even though it was spinning, they can just go any direction. But to the place whither the head looked, they followed it. So whichever way the angel turned his head, that chariot go that way. He only had to turn his body. I was wrong. I was picturing like some damn movie shit. Like he turned the whole seat. Nah. He just turned his head. Oh my goodness, he's talking about. That's what Esau trying to copy. With these automated vehicles, AI technology, self-driving vehicles, right? Electric vehicles, they can drive themselves. And they want to put that inside of people so they can control it with their mind. They think they God, man. But nope, the angels already got it. The angels turn their heads, whichever way they look, the chariot go that way. Man, I wish I can control this car I drive like that. So when they went upon their four sides. They turned not when they went. All right, so they just whichever direction. But to the place whither the head looked, they followed it. So whichever way the angel looked, that's where the chariot went. They turned not as they went. So they ain't had to turn, make a big turn like an airplane would have to do. So the angel looked backwards, go this way, it's going that way. And their whole body, all right, this part right here is a parable. Their whole body is talking about the chariots now. Still, the body work, and their backs, the whole body of it, the back of it, and their hands and their wings. So people think it's talking about that physical hand. No, it's talking about what propels it, or the power of it, or really right here it says spokes. You can look up in the English translation and it says spokes. All right, so it's describing the details of these chariots. It says the spokes of it. So that would be like the rings of it, you know. And their wings and the wheels were full of eyes round about. Even the wheel that they four had, man. So even, it's basically saying every chariot that they had, as it explained in the prior verse above it, 2 verses up, each chariot that they had all these rings and eyes all around it, meaning windows. All right, so even the spokes of it, or the bottom area of it, had windows. There was windows all around this chariot. All right, so let me look up this real quick. All right, so spokes, if you look up that word in Ezekiel 10, it's not supposed to be hand, it's supposed to say spokes. It says each of the bars or wired rods connecting the center of a wheel. So its outer wheel to its outer edge. So it had like bars that were connecting it, the middle to the outside part, and every, you know, like a circle. And even that had windows on it. All right, so Ezekiel 10 and 13. As for the wheels, it was cried unto them in my hearing, and every one had 4 faces. All right, so, all right, this goes into their details. Yeah, the first face was the face of a cherub, but in Ezekiel 1 it says an ox. All right, it's talking about their duties right here. It's not talking about face. It's talking about their duties, their purpose. All right, and these are all the top, even of the animals. You have the lion, the eagle. In Ezekiel 1 it says the ox, which is the top of the cattle. The eagle is the top of birds. The lion, you know, and man. And then now it switched it. It said the cherub. So the cherub is the top, the angel. All right, and these are their duties, to rule over the angels in heaven. You know, the 4 archangels. That's what they call them, archangels, the top. But they had jobs, and it says employment, their purpose. And the 4th, the face of an eagle. And the cherubs were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Kibar. All right. And when the cherubs went, when the angels went, the wheels went. See, in Ezekiel 1 it said living creatures, but right here it says cherubim. So it's talking about the angels. The wheels went by them. So when it says against them, it's talking about near them. All right. So when the angels was moving, these chariots were over near them. And when the cherubs lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned not from beside them. All right, so when they were flying, just like Yahushua, they said he flew up upon the chariot. Or when one chariot would take off, the other ones would be right behind it. When they stood, these stood. So when they stopped, these chariots would stop. like a fleet, like in formation. And when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also, for the spirit of the living creature was in them, so controlling the chariots. So whenever the chariot would move, an angel would move or fly or whatever they wanted to do, they're moving around, the chariot was right there with them. Just like in Ezekiel 13, it describes Yahweh flying up to the chariot, and the chariot right there. All right. Now, all right, so Ezekiel 10 and 18, then the glory of Yahweh departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubims. All right, just like in Ezekiel 1. And the cherubims lifted up their wings and mounted up from the earth in my sight. And when they went out, the wheels also were by them. All right. So they're talking about wings. They ain't talking about those like fluttering butterfly wings or bird wings. They're talking about they were just flying. All right. Or they were with the chariots. And everyone stood at the door of the east gate of Yahweh's house. And the glory of Yahweh, the power of Israel, was over them above. Just like in Ezekiel 1. They saw Yahweh over top of them. Of these angels and chariots. And what Yahweh was doing was showing Ezekiel a vision of the heavenly powers and himself, Yahweh, the Most High power. And he was showing Ezekiel this to encourage him, because Ezekiel was doubtful. He was inspired by the vision, but he was distraught, frustrated, having to go deal with his own people to teach them about the heavenly vision that he saw. But the Lord said this, well, actually this is an old proverb, an old saying. Like, I think Bruce Lee said this. He said, when you're pointing at the stars, somebody could watch the hand, but if you watch the hand, you'll miss all the beauty and majestic vision of the heavenly powers. Meaning, I take this with Ezekiel, he could worry about the people that he was going to go teach, or he could just focus on the vision that the Lord was showing him. That gives you joy. Just like now, you can focus on the world and things in front of you, the drama and shit, or the people that disagree with you, or you can focus on the vision that the Lord told you, as you're teaching these people. That's your fuel. All right, so that's why the Lord was showing Ezekiel these visions of the heavenly angels, and they're very useful for us today. If not, we wouldn't know what the chariots were if it wasn't for the Lord's words. All right. So, verse 20. So this is basically finished, but I'm gonna keep going. This is the living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of Kibar. And I knew that they were the cherubims. He knew it. He looked at them and said, yeah, these are righteous. They're meant for good. And it says every one had four faces apiece. So each angel had 4 duties or 4 jobs that they would be over. Each angel had 4 faces apiece, and every one 4 wings. And the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings. So, and what that means is they had the power of the Lord lifting them up, Yahweh. What propels these chariots is the power of the Lord. That's what the hand represents, the power. All right. So everyone had 4 chariots with them, like a fleet or a formation. And everyone had 4 duties. All right. So, and one would be like man. The whole duty of man is what? To fear Yahweh, praise him, and do his will. An eagle could be to deliver messages or deliver us swiftly, right? Or to bring destruction or judgment. It really says a vulture. It don't say an eagle, but an ox, like cattle, you know, working for Yahweh. You know, and I think that was a lion. I was like 5, but yeah, a lion. All right, to tear, which could probably be like the spirit of Yahweh. All right. So everyone have now, verse 22, and the likeness of their faces was the same faces which I saw by the river of Kibar. Their appearances and themselves, they went every one straight forward, man. All right, so their appearances and themselves. So he was judging their countenance. What type of beings were these? These were righteous angels that do the work of the Lord. And they got rankings, just like in the military. You have different officers and officers, and they move in formation. And this chariot that he saw, it shot off like lightning. And it turned not when it went. It just shot off. You know? All right, man, to here. 2nd Ezra 13:29. And this is what everybody's experiencing right now. Behold, the days come when the Most High, Yahweh, will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. So that's why the angels are showing up. This is the beginning of our deliverance. And the angels can do nothing unless the Most High gives the order. So we're in that time where the Most High wants to deliver us. He will deliver his elect. But right now they're just beholding and watching and manipulating things. Beholding the evil and the good. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. So it's going to be surprising to all these people. And with surprise also comes fear. All right, so with that I'm going to say shalom. Hopefully this was edifying and ultimately encouraging to get you one day pass, or a week or a month, fuel to continue in this truth. And our goal is to keep each other to the end. Sustain each other with his word. All right. So the Lord said that entry into the kingdom shall be ushered in by his elect, by his men. All right, to lead our people and the sheep all the way to Yahweh Shai, the good shepherd. So with that, I'm gonna end it, man. Hopefully this was encouraging, man. Say shalom.
Saying that the government knows more about this than they have previously let on, that doesn't really surprise me, because it looks to me like the government has been tracking these UAPs for a long time now and has not been saying much about it.